Reality after reality, I find a similar scenario. Gamers playing a game that they don't understand. No matter, as I have time and time again, I will remove your illicit presence. Gamer, I sentence you to Redditor hell. You will reside in this reality no more. Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon, and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today, obviously, we're going to try to finish up Soul Survivor, postmodern tabletop role-playing game. Yes, today is the end. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a little. It's been a wild ride. We've learned a lot about ourselves. Been a little bit of an odd duck, but that's half the fun, isn't it? To learn a little bit something about ourselves, game design in general. So, what has changed? I made a few changes, just a little bit. First things first that I changed was, if I go down here, added some images, added this finally. This is the elemental chart. Not very good, but it works. Where was it? I changed some of the prices here. The goal with these is to have some things be a little bit lower, some things a little bit higher, generally evening out to about an average of about 5. The main thing that kind of got reduced in price were things like skill up and your recovery. It's good to get rid of things, kind of like your bread and butters. They went a little bit cheaper, while more overtly useful ones went up in price, but some of them also went down. It's, generally speaking, I kind of reduced prices across the board. Same goes for status ailments. Status ailments kind of remain the same. There's a few that kind of got reduced down in price, but I also added this as kind of a side rule. I should actually say like a side rule, which is the idea of penalty effects. Penalty effects effectively is for a positive thing, you can assign a negative thing to it. For example, hey, I have a 3/6 heal, which is normally 10 points, but I also put the target to sleep, in which I'm refunded a few points. I'm refunded 3 points. But you're only really going to be healing your friends. So, hey, I'm going to heal you, but I'm now putting you to sleep. So, that's something for you to think about. Let's see. I also added this in. This was kind of like a little, I wouldn't say a side rule, a little side thing. That's 210. Which was the idea of banishment. Pretty much the first banishing is free for one hero. One hero can have the effect to banish another soul, banish souls or soul survivors. Everybody else has to pay 15 PP for it. So that's kind of like one of those things you kind of got to agree among the group that one person can banish souls consistently. Nobody else can. If we go down here, I also do a little thing on banishment costs. Generally speaking, you're going to be spending an absurd amount of points on banishing things because banishing things is hard. And it should cost a lot. It should cost a lot more than you think it does. I also added a note on weird characters, which is like, hey, you want to play a soul survivor or a reality android or perhaps an amnesiac guardian. Here are your options to do it, but that means you just have to spend it on make a critical event power. With all the associated problems go along with it. We got all these things. We got the dungeon. I kind of added some things here just to kind of tighten things up. Treasure. Mostly after an encounter, you're going to get 2d6. Larger ones, you're going to get 4d6. Kind of how this goes. And I actually added sample phases to everything. Like, here's what a snippet of the adventure phase. You know, a sample dungeon. You know, kind of like how money converts. I'm thinking about one treasure converts to about $5. But we're also dealing with 1999 money, which actually goes quite a long way. Because remember, 1999, you could buy a bottle of Coke for $1. Which sounds weird, because if you go to the store now, you're probably going to pay for like a good bottle of Coke, maybe about $2.50. You know, $2, maybe $3 in some places. Back then, it was kind of weird to pay $1 even, so it's kind of like $5 goes actually quite a long way. And I kind of wanted to portray that. It's kind of hard to say, like, yeah, money goes further without just stating it. Combat probably got, like, the biggest overhaul. And just wording. As you can kind of see here, I did the front line, back line, retreat line. Using Axel, Catherine McBride, and Otacon, obviously. Our three characters. Kind of symbolize who's going where. Then I also added this section. Hello, Catherine again, my beloved. Which is anytime you need to make a hits check without a target or a target isn't resisting. Pretty much if you're doing a heal, that's the most common one. You're going to roll the appropriate attribute of the target of 4. So pretty much you're just going to roll your dice. Every time you hit 4, you're going to do 1 tick of it. So if you're healing somebody and you roll a bunch of dice, you could be able to heal them a few more times every time you roll a 4. Hopefully that works. It's maybe not perfect, but it's something. Which is very consistent on, it's like you have about a 15% chance of failure. It's 85% chance if you go for a light variety, but things get a little bit more hectic. But I also added this for the healing outside of combat, which you're going to heal for full pretty much. However, you're going to have to spend it whatever the least is. So, for example, KK, otherwise known as Cassandra, she has a 2/4 heal, and she has 3 psi. 3, I should say, psi defense. She's gonna heal 6 damage. She doesn't have to roll for it. She doesn't have to get checked for it. But it's not as efficient as in combat. But you shouldn't get hurt at all, because getting hurt sucks. Remember that. Actions kind of got the biggest overhaul. As you can see, I actually wrote out every action in kind of more detail. Like how it works, some more details with individual ones, because there wasn't that many rather than just the list. Hello, Alex, my beloved. Kiss you, Alex. Everybody loves Alex, right? Everybody loves Alex. I also got beer, so I'm happy. The main thing is moved out a little bit. Little bit differences. Powers pretty much got the exact same thing. The idea behind powers being like, it's always going to trigger. And that's like a very key thing. It's always going to trigger if you spend the points. Recovery. I added this for recovery. Which, if you do the recovery action, you can remove a status ailment. You can restore a little bit of AE or restore a little bit of HP. which doesn't seem like a lot, but you have like 10, 12 HP to begin with, so like restoring D4 actually does mean quite a bit. It means that you're going to get at least a little bit more points. Let's see, hostile design. This mostly stayed relatively the same. The only major difference was I added the gimmicks. There's so many Alexes. That's the point, baby. Restoring 1d anything means 1 in my experience. Yes, Perky, that's the point. It's not really efficient. Here's the thing. Like, the idea is that it's not efficient to heal that way. It is, however... Oh, goodness. It is, however, I need some more AE. I need to heal a little bit. I need to get something here to continue my being able to be useful. You shouldn't be doing it, however, you can do it. Gimmicks are strange happenstance or unique factors that can lead to the defeat of the hostile. How I'm kind of doing it is like, it's behaviors. This is how they're going to be acting. Pretty consistent amount, you're going to be gaining it here. I might bump up attack and defense a little bit. Probably do like something more along the lines of like 5. Alright, and then I believe it would be not -8, it would be -9. I believe. Actually, no, -7. If I'm doing my math correctly. The main goal here is because you have the gimmicks and how they work a little bit, so hopefully... This is kind of a side note, but like everything is going to be associated with an element. So you can do damage to them very easily in some cases if you kind of know what they're doing. Obviously, we have damage, target, blah, blah, blah. Number of strikes is an important one. What I should do is... for 8, you ended up with 8. So, for example, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Rat doesn't actually have any gimmicks. They're just an enemy that appears, they're going to hit you until you block or dodge or whatever. That's the entire idea. The T-69,000, however, has their Donginator, the Penetrator, the Acidic Goop. It also has the 2 gimmicks. It will focus exclusively on male heroes, and if confronted with a female hero, they will not attack or act against them. No, it's the Gotchi bot. It wants to violate a man. And that's kind of the joke almost with them, is that they're, if you're a dude, they're gonna, the Penetrator and the Donginator are coming and they're not gonna let you go. Prepare for acidic goop. That's the haha. However, it's one of those things that you can understand now, being like, hey, why don't we put like one of the one of our ladies up front to fight the T-69,000, simply because it's not going to target them at all, and it's going to want to target us exclusively. That is a way for you to dodge or block or help yourself against those guys who would normally be kind of a major threat. Element, same thing. It got reduced down in points, I should actually say, is enemy element. The hostiles. Always hot. Always 0 PP, because PP is funny to say, because I am too. Goodness. Oh, no, I want to hit 3 there. And we hit 3 there, perfect. Similarly, these kind of got changed ever so slightly, just to make them a little bit more efficient. Void. The big thing with these is that if, say, an enemy is like Earth aligned, they can select Earth for free, and that means like, hey, you need, if you do defend against Earth, you're gonna be good, but obviously, attacking them with attacks that are, bad against Earth are going to punish you. Simple. Status ailments. There we have Guardians, and then we have the this thing again. I just noticed the wood to earth is jank. Oh god, I just noticed that. Why do I do this to myself? But yeah, no, everything's there is fine, is good. Light beats dark, void beats mortal. that's kind of the idea, is that they kind of counteract each other in there. So like light and dark aren't going to like each other very much, and they're actually going to do double damage against one another, which is something really like spooky, because you're just going to nuke each other into oblivion, similar to Void and Mortal. One of the biggest overt advantages the heroes have is all of their stuff is free to be mortal, while a Void entity is going to be able to do a shit ton of damage against them if they aren't. It's like, oof. The turtles target news field reporters. Imperfect arrows are postmodernism. Yeah. All right. So there's 3 big things we got to worry about today. There's 3 really big things we're going to kind of wrap up today, which is kind of going over, double checking everything is one. And then we have advancement. This is the very important part. We got to get advancement. Advancement's always fun. I always find it's always final to me. Has a finality to it. So, heroes in a half shell, turtle power, and then watch the stream get taken down for copyright. Let's see. See, luckily for me, is I've been pretty calm today. Things are going good because I just have one more game to go over. I went over 2 games last night for tomorrow's big stream, and I was pleasantly surprised by one of them. I was very pleasantly surprised by one. The other one, a little bit rough around the edges. Not gonna lie, a little bit rough, but I am happy. Today is good. Today I have to go over Overlight. That's the other big one I have to go over tonight, which I am not looking forward to Overlight because Overlight burns my eyes out. That is offensively colorful. So, heroes are actually rarely static individuals, always pushing forward to, how do I want to word that? To stop oblivion. Stop Oblivion, or the Oblivion Crisis. Ha ha ha. It's an Elder Scrolls reference. Please laugh. Static individual always pushing forward to stop Oblivion. During their adventures, the heroes encounter powerful enemies, dangerous obstacles, and even have to confront their most how do I want to word it? Even have to confront something deeply personal themselves. Heroes advance by performing one of 2. Actually, when a hero advances, fuck, how do I want to do this? Actually, no. Heroes increase their power. Increase their power under 3 circumstances. Clear a dungeon heart. So the idea is that you just completely wipe out a dungeon. You complete an investigation. We'll do 4 circumstances. Let's see. Clear a dungeon heart. Complete an investigation. How do I want to word this? Oh yeah. Surpass a trauma. Finally, what would be a good one? Countdown to Armageddon. Actually, countdown to Y2K. There we go. So, when the hero, actually, so we need to explain all these. When the heroes clear a dungeon, they are presented with the dungeon heart. Should they choose to, they may actually the dungeon heart. The dungeon heart is is a powerful entity that radiates the pure unreality of the soul space of this. Let's see, the dungeon heart's powerful entity that radiates the pure unreality of the soul space. In the right, its destruction unleashes a wave of power that emanates. Actually, that not only dissipates. Actually, no. How do I want to word this? Pure unreality, pure power. That is. When a dungeon heart is found, dungeon hearts may dungeon hearts may either be destroyed or converted into an artifact. Destroyed dungeon hearts increase the level of each of the heroes. Let's see. Destroyed dungeon hearts increase the level of each of the heroes. Basically, the heroes, but converting it into a dungeon, into an artifact. An artifact presents a valuable, if dangerous tool in their arsenal against the apocalypse. There we go. So it's kind of like the idea being like, here's this thing, and here's an object. Apocalypse. It's kind of like, okay, you have the option of destroying this heart, or you have the option of converting it straight into an artifact of some kind. And I'm gonna probably write about this in like the postmodern like Proto-Master GM section a little bit, being like, yeah, converting something kind of is tied to the dungeon of some kind. They don't always have to be strictly the most valuable artifacts, they simply are an artifact. And you could get something like, for example, if you went into a house, for example, that was in soul space, you might convert it into something very mundane. Be like, hey, this is a record player. However, it's a record player that plays, that if you put a blank record effectively on it, it's going to transcribe something else, pretty much another record from another reality. Doesn't seem very valuable until it's like, wait a second, we can do this for plot reasons, or we can make something happen here, or wait a second, we're interpreting something that doesn't exist. Or it could be something like, oh hey, you're in a factory, so now you have like I'm trying to think of something in like the top of my fucking head right now. It's one of those things, like, you definitely know what I know what I'm talking about, but I'm trying to figure out like what it, like, in the top of my head, like, okay, like, you might find something if you're in, let's say, like a clothing factory, kind of like you're just, pumping out random clothes or something. You might find a shirt that pretty much blocks all, like, hey, you find a shirt that, prevents you from taking, a certain amount of damage. You have free protect on. And it's like, yeah, that's a really valuable shirt. The problem is, it looks terrible. It's a horrifying looking shirt. You're going to stick out like a sore goddamn thumb. So it's like, maybe you want that, maybe you don't. Like, that's kind of the thing with them. So, next the heroes can complete an investigation. This is the most consistent way to increase the level of the hero. This is the most consistent way to increase the level of the heroes, allowing them to not only, let's see, increase the level of the heroes, allowing them to not only gain not only advance story, but also advance themselves. This is pretty much like I think the best way to find a word about the investigation one would be this is your standard way of leveling up. Destroying dungeon hearts is like a very much like a dedicated process. However, completing an investigation is like, we're doing a pretty major thing. This is a major story arc that we've completed. Next, now we go to the next one. Chapter 1 is done. Chapter 2 is done. Chapter 3 is done. That's kind of what that means. Investigations are big, and I want them to feel that big. So, surpass a trauma. All heroes start with, and will slowly reveal more traumas. Start with and slowly be more. I start with A and will slowly reveal more trauma. Traumas aren't necessarily negative, aspects or overt problems. The hero must confront, but they are a part of them that they potentially wish to change or grow past. Going past a trauma. How do I want to actually? Going past a trauma doesn't increase your level. But allows you to take a new trait. Related to that trauma. Trait related to that trauma. So, like, an example one would be Marcus, for example. If we go all the way back up to Marcus, is that Marcus has a trauma is that he's terrified of unfamiliar people. Because he's terrified of unfamiliar people, he likes to hide from prying eyes. He's a very quiet, very, like, you could say a little bit anxious person. However, if he gets over the fact that he's terrified of unfamiliar people, if over the course of an investigation, of course, the multiple investigations, he opens up to people a little bit more. He's a lot more friendly and a lot more eager to help people, even if he's being forced into these situations. He's going to surpass his trauma, and once he surpasses his trauma, he can now convert that into a trait of some kind. So, for example, if he's terrified of unfamiliar people, he can slowly convert it into the awkward best friend. He's this awkward guy, he's a little bit weird, but he's always there for you, and he's always kind of this really helpful person. He likes helping people. He's kind of a weird guy, but he's like, people understand him. He's awkward, but he's friendly. But allows the hero. Doesn't increase the hero's level. Related to the trauma. Finally, at the midway. As reality collapses due to soul space distortions, and actually as reality collapses due to soul space distortions and the inevitable countdown to the end of days, the heroes of man, the heroes will grow in power due to the Watcher's influence. At the midway point and during the last week of December, the heroes will gain a level. So at the midway point, I'm gonna have to put a footnote. We'll do footnote. If the story begins on December 1st, then December 15th. But if it begins in January 1st, 2000, January 1st, 1999, then in mid-June. There we go. So it's kind of like along the idea of being like, as things start slowly breaking down, you're going to gain power, not necessarily because you've done anything, but because reality is breaking down and you're getting stronger, because that's kind of what people want the story to continue. Always remember, you are not your character. You are a watcher. You're someone examining their lives as they struggle against pretty much their reality coming apart. Their reality, and this reality that you're kind of observing, is going to be destroyed on January 1st, 2000 at 12:01. 1 minute after midnight, reality is going to be destroyed. Why not help them out a little bit? Give them a little bit of a push. So you might end up, my estimation is that you're going to end up about level 10-ish. That would be kind of like my guesstimation. You're going to end up at level 10. And if you do like a lot of little, like longer, like really long ones, like a year-long one, you might end up at a pretty high level. If you're doing like December 1st, then you're probably going to be a little bit lower level. But again, you have that kind of a ticking clock where you, the player, have the dramatic irony knowing that January 1st, 1 minute after midnight, this reality is going to be annihilated. However, they do not. The characters do not. The heroes are kind of in the dark about it, which is sad. And that should be something that is somewhat sad. The hell? I've been following the fucking Ezra Miller case. That's just going insane. People like Ezra Miller surprise me as like people. Like, how do you function in society, my friend? Why are you the way that you are, Ezra Miller, millionaire, millionaire actor, and somehow manages to, just destroy everything and become a dangerous individual? Why are you the way that you are? On January 1st, 1999. Always write your footnotes. Footnotes are God's gift to humanity. Always remember that. And sometimes you gotta do it the jank way because it's silly. At the midway point and during the last week in December, the heroes will gain a level. So, what are you? What is a level up? What is a level up? Nope. No, we have to do this. Cool. Cuckoo choo choo. When a hero has successfully leveled up, they increase their level by 1. Hey, let's see, it has leveled up. They will gain. They will have the option. They'll have the option of improving a variety of aspects about themselves. Let's see, a variety of aspects about themselves. each level has the hero select. I believe we'll have to go select. We'll say 3 options. Let's say select 3 options from the list below. Okay, so let's go through. Let's take a look. What do we have as character? Like, what is a character? What is cloud gaming? So what we need to do is we need to increase in ego by a die type, by a die step, D4 to D6, D10 to D12, etc. Up to D12. That's 1. The id, we need to increase a trait die, trait die by one die step, by a die step. Add a new trait. Add a new trait. Let's see, we need to add +2, actually add +2, actually increase combat increase 2 combat actually, how do I want to word this? Actually gain 2 combat attribute points. 2 combat attribute points. We'll do increase HP by +2, increase AE by +2, increase speed SPD by +2. We want to do gain plus, let's say gain +3 PP, so you can improve any of your abilities. Okay, so what am I missing here? That's pretty much it. So increasing the ego by a step, increase a trait die by a step, add a new trait, gain 2 combat attribute points. So these would be all, actually, here's what we can do. So let me see. You'll see the hero selects 3 options from the list below. And we do this, increase up to G12, add a +2 combat points. Actually, no. Here's what we can do. We put this in here as well. However, the hero will always receive when they level up. When they level up the following. You get +2 HP. +1 AE, +1 speed, +1 combat attribute, gain attribute, +1 combat attribute point, increase a trait die by a die step, gain +5 PP. Actually, we'll do +3 PP. So every time you level up, you're always going to get this. You're always rapidly increasing in combat. In your abilities. So +2. So it's like, hey, you only get to option like a few options, but you also are always going to get you a little bit more points. You're always going to be able to increase your die. You're always going to be able to do that. Actually, if we select 2 options from the list below, we'll always receive this when they level up. Because if we do this, let me just do this quickly. We want to do When in doubt, we're adding a table. Hey, look out, go back to high school. We want to do HP increase, total increase, AE increase, total increase, combat attribute point, total combat attribute, total increase. And then we have PowerPoints, increase PowerPoints. So the HP increase, so actually what we want to do is we want to put one to the left, which is going to be level. Attribute points, PowerPoints. So 1, 2, HP increase. Your minimum going to get 2, 2, 1, 1, 3, and at level 3, you're going to end up with 2 more. Or you're going to end 1 more, 2. Okay, actually. I always find it funny anyone comes up and like, wow, why isn't this exciting? Why isn't this stream exciting? Be like, my brother in Christ, I work on fucking tabletop games. We do this. We do 1, however, we reduce the size to something like this. Center it all, and then we do new traumas. New trauma. That, and we gain a new trauma every odd level. So we do our HP increases would be, it's +2. Actually, it would be 2. $10. Because we do this, actually at level 1 you would get 0, 0, 0, 0. Actually, it would be, your HP would be, actually, do we want linear growth or do we want, actually, I know what we can do. Increase my physical die. Actually, no. I don't want to do that. Actually, by +2 or 1/2 physical. 1/2 physical die. So it's useful after, if you have it, it's nice to get it, but you don't really need to. Or 1/2 enigmatic die. Or 1/2 flowy die. There we go. Gain +3 PP, or Or you get one half cerebral die. What am I missing? So it's physical, enigmatic, flowy, cerebral. I'm missing gutsy. Actually, or one half gutsy die. Actually, no. We do 1/3. No, that's bad. That's a bad idea. Gutsy though is useful by itself. Those are all our derived. Actually, half physical. Actually, we'll do gutsy or physical for this one. Whatever's highest. So your HP is going to be increasing by how strong or just how brave you are. So what we can do is, if we go here, we can do natural growth chart. Let's see. The hero will always receive the following when they level up. So +2, 2, +2, 4. Like generally speaking, like what I'm trying to do here is like represent like you're going to be getting like quite a bit like stuff. That's what I wanted. Like don't have like you're going to constantly be getting more health, more everything, but you can use it. You can use these to increase things more efficiently, you could say. Total AE increase, which is going to be like +1, 1. So your AE is not like increasing at really at all, and I'm okay with that not really increasing at all because it's so valuable by itself. By virtue of kind of having it like increase a little bit less naturally, I think would be a boon. I might alternate this actually. So actually what we can do, I think I like this. I think I like this though. So for attribute points, you're always going to get +1. This chart doesn't really seem that helpful, but it's kind of like, let me point this out to you because this is trait by. So power points, you're going to get +3, +3. Mostly when it comes to like power points, like if you're not really playing like a really like power focused character, then this is going to be fine because you're going to be able to, at level 6 you'll be able to pick up pretty much a brand new stance. And but if you're playing that kind of character, you're kind of already know what you're doing, and that's just, this is kind of just a little bonus, being like, oh boy, I get to do this neato burrito. And then traumas every odd level. Yeah, we get a trauma. So this is your 1 trauma. Actually, no, we'll do. Actually, no. How do I want to do this? Actually, I'll get a new trauma at level 3, 6, and 9. So we do this, but we have to put you right there, and then we put you at 9. So you're gonna get 4 at the end. Then at anything kind of past this, you're gonna end up with 2 + 2. +1, obvious. It's kind of like, it's pretty obvious what you're going to end up with this. but I want to kind of like clarify, like this is kind of like how I envision this to look. Okay. So you have leveled up. Okay. Oh, weapons. I forgot about weapons. Yeah. Let's see, add a trait or increase a trait by 1 die. There we go. Let's do combat attribute points, increase HP by 2, or this, or this. So you might be able to increase your HP like by 4 if you're selecting, but you only get 2 options per that. So it's kind of like you are always kind of like, I want to increase my weapon damage. I kind of don't want to increase my weapon damage. Yeah. Okay, okay. And that should be good. So this is kind of like the natural growth of like how you're naturally going to grow. Unnaturally is this. So if we're gonna play, let's grab Marcus real fast. Marcus Nemens, our full boy. He's been with us since the beginning. So we need to go here and we need to do Marcus Nemens. Marcus Nemens. We gotta grab his dice here. We need to grab his traits here. We need to grab his attributes. And we need to grab his basic stats. And that, forget his powers, which are going to go right here. Yeah, so we've got all his stuff here. Let's see. Increase the trait by a die step. Actually, no, here's what we can do. Increase the trait by a die. Increase the trait by a die step by one die step. And then we can do is add a new trait at level 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, and 8. So it's kind of like we're learning more about this person, but we're always going to get 5. This is a guarantee. You can't add a new trait. So that means we're going to have a insert row to the right. We're going to take all of these new traits. First trait, second trait, third trait, fourth trait, and then finally our 5th trait. By level 8, we kind of know who the person we're dealing with is, even if they kind of don't want us to. You know, like we've learned a little bit more about them than we might feel, than they might feel comfortable. Actually, here's what we can yeah, so the dead levels are going to be if we get a trauma. If we get our trauma every actually no, we do. Let's see. If we do second trait, third trait, fourth trait, fifth trait. Trauma should be one less. So we're going to get not maybe like trauma. Actually, unless we do like trauma, 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 trauma. Kind of like this. So you're always going to end off like with something wrong with you, unless we switch these around like this maybe. Because your traumas are going to be able to be converted into traits unless we do this. So if we do this, we're going to get our second trait right away. So it's like, here's another aspect about ourselves that we learn about ourselves, and then it's going to be kind of alternating. Like we learn something about ourselves, we learn something maybe not so good about ourselves. We learn something good about ourselves, we learn something bad about ourselves. Which is kind of the vibe I was going for. Let's see, 7 and 9. So you're going to end up with 5 traumas, 5 traits. That means 5 trauma traits, 5 standard traits. All of those slowly kind of increasing over time. Which I'm okay with that, not like these being not like super high, because you're always going to be increasing. Like you're going to get like some that are like, I'm going to make a wild assumption being like your first and second trait and maybe like your first 2 trauma. Like these are going to be higher level than anything else, because those are more impactful to you as a person. That means a lot more to you because it was something that was kind of introduced about you quickly. These ones are more like refinements of that original concept. And your traumas might inform how these are. Yeah, okay. All right. So, Marcus. We need to do table. Put this in. Where's Marcus? Marcus, please. Marcus. An example, Marcus Simmons, video gamer. Shutting who cares more about his jamming and interacting with other people. Has formed a impromptu relationship. Has been formed impromptu band with Catherine, with KK, and what did I name it in like the dungeon example? Leon. Has formed an impromptu band for KK and Leon. Leon looking for their lost friend. Looking for their lost friend. What did I give his name? I wrote this literally today, but I completely fucking forgot the names already. Colin. Oh, their lost friend, Colin. He has managed to reach level 2. He has managed to reach level 2. And then we take all his basic stats. You decide to reach level 2. We want to take all reach level 2. We're going to increase an ego. For his choices, he chooses to increase his ego, and what would be a good one? And we'll say what's the cerebral die at? D8. So and increase his PP with his cerebral die +4. plus 4. So we want to do level 1, level 1, level 2. Level 2. Level 2. So he chooses an ego increase. So obviously, actually what we're going to do is D0. D0, just kind of highlight it. Gutsy, he has obviously kind of gotten a little bit braver. He increases it to D4. And let's see, he gets... he gets plus 4 PP. Is it plus 4, actually, PP? Yeah, plus 4 PP. And that means, okay, we increased that. Then we need to do our HP. Our HP naturally increases to 12 out of 12. 12 out of 12. Actually, no, it wouldn't increase because we get the die bonus. So it'd be 14 out of 14. It'd be 16 out of 16. Plus 4 for the gutsy die. For the gutsy die, and then plus 2 for the HP increase. His AE increases by 1, so he only has 18 out of 18. He didn't really improve his other egos. And he's got 1 combat attribute. Let me just highlight this real fast. We'll probably actually do this a little bit to kind of like give a better highlight of like, yeah, here are the increases. One combat attribute point. So he's going to increase his physical, actually, no, not his physical defense. He's still not that good. He's going to increase his offensive melee. He's going to increase his offensive psi. Actually, it would be his offensive psi. He gets plus 3 PP, so he gets a total of 7 PP. We want to do 7 PP. 7 PP. Just actually, wait a second. I gotta do PP to spend. His speed does not increase. So he's got all that. He's got a new trait. And which his trait, I believe we need to select a good trait for him. What would be a good trait for him? He gets a mind enhance. He's going to get a mind. Actually, we can do machines make sense. He gets that at D4 because that's kind of what a starting tactic, what a starting thing gets at. It starts at D4. Add a new trait at D4. Okay, we've gotten that. He's leveled, so he's increased everything by just a little bit. And he's got 1 attribute. He's got plus 3 power points. He's got 7 power points. That means we need to Marcus Nemens, and then we're actually going to do this, and then we're going to do he's got 7 additional points to spend. Would he want to invest in a new ability, or would he want to improve his standard ones? I think he'd want to improve his standard ones, so he's going to bump 5 more into that. See what he's going to do. I mean, he's going to do this. He's going to make that a 2-3. He's going to make that, no, he's going to make that 2-4 because he increased it by 2. 2-4 damage, which is going to be 5. And then he's going to add he doesn't got anything. Let's see. Do we got anything fun we can add for like 2 points? We can reduce the AE cost. Yeah, that's just about it. See, Marcus has a total of seven additional PP, 7 additional PP to spend. 7 additional PP to spend on his abilities. Let's see, on his powers. So we do that, we increase it by that, so that's 2 increase, 2 plus 7, 2 actually, so it would be technically, so yeah, that is correct. 7-5, he spent a brand new total of it would be 17 on this one just particular ability, because he's burnt all his points on it. However, he can now do 2-4 damage pretty reliably to everybody in a line for only 3 AE, in which he actually has a decent amount of AE. He's got 18. That's what he wants to do. That's what he's built his character to be. He is a wizard, effectively. He is a wizard man, and he's a little bit more brave now. Still haven't quite got over his, fear of people. But he likes machines, he likes building things, and he is very offensive side. He's very good when he actually is able to get into combat, when you can blast people in combat. Absolutely annihilate them. The problem that he has, more than anything, is that he has 0 defense. So he's kind of in the back constantly, and he needs to protect himself. He doesn't really have that good of a weapon. He's got a 1-2 weapon. And he's not really supposed to be very good in combat. That's kind of the idea. He's a wizard. And later on, he's going to want to keep investing, like almost every level, he's going to invest pretty heavily into getting more PP. Probably level 3, he's going to have 7 new points to work with. He might increase something else. He might increase this. He might increase that. Actually, do I want to increase it pretty big and give him just like a solid 5 because things are so expensive? You know what? I think I'm going to give him a solid 5. So do I want to? So I have 2 extra points effectively. Unless I do go down here, we bump it up to 4, 6. That means I have 3 points. So 5. So it would be 1 point less, which would make it 1 plus 5. That's 6. Actually, no, that would be. He's 9 points to spend because he got 4 from the cerebral, 5 there. He's got 9 points, 5. He spent 5 there. He spent 1 there. He's got 4 points to spend. And since he's got 4 points to spend, let's see. Let's make a new quick little power. Actually, he's gonna make a really little power, but that he wants. He wants to make a 1 status round thing. That's gonna be 0. He's going to be making it. Currently, it's going to be 10 AE. So it's going to cost him 0 there. He's got 4 points, and he wants to invest in. Let's see, he's got 4 points. We can invest in regen. We can invest in haste. Okay, yeah, no, we'll invest in stun. He pretty much just stuns the person for a round, being like, oh no. We do invest in 9. That means we have... However, this is something that he can kind of expand on later on. Actually, or be at 5 points. Actually, we want to do all Full Metal Nerd, which we only do for 5. That means we have 5 points out of our 9 points. That means we have 4. And that means we have, we have a full 4 with that. We want to be friendly or... Yeah, no, we'll do... what we can do is we can do a little bit more investing. However, he inflicts silence on himself. What we will do, he inflicts silence on himself because he can't use any of his abilities. However, he gets regen at 4 because he's kind of in his happy place. It's going to last status round 1. It's only going to last 1 round, but he can't use any abilities the next round. Effectively, he's pretty much making himself a lot less useful by it. But he's going to regenerate himself a little bit. Let's see. So we want to do, where am I looking at? So that means we have at 1 we get 3 more points, and it's going to be AE 7. There we go. So we'll do happy place, which is going to be a status round. Silence 3, regen, silence. Regen for 5. Actually, regen for 4. Regen for 4, and we cost us an AE cost of 7. Yep. Pretty much he gets 1 tick of healing against himself. We can just regenerate himself a little bit. But the problem is he's going to silence himself. It costs him quite a bit. Actually, if I wanted... Let's see, is there another one that costs a little bit cheaper? The regen is 4, so if we do something, can we invest in anything else for 4? Or do we can do... Let's see. I know what we can do. How do we increase the status round? Maybe wondering, why are you trying to fucking optimize a goddamn game like this? This is the fucking point. Like, it... What the point is... Let's see... 7, 4. Yeah, this would have to be it. It costs exactly 4. He's buying it, and this is what he kind of was looking for. He's silencing him, so he's kind of crippling himself, but for 1 round, he gets +4 in all his skill checks. Alright, I'm just kind of doing what leveling up looks like. Because we're effectively done. Yeah, this is it. Really, there isn't really that much else. I mean, the Proto Master section is something like I could just like sit down and write. That's just like, what does this do? What does this mean? Like, here's just, that's a GM section. I always hate writing GM sections, but I have to sometimes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, ooh. I always find it impressive that it gets very fucking hot at this hour. But yeah, that's pretty much the game. Like, there isn't actually that much left. So what are my final things on fucking Soul Survivor? Let me actually do some quick. Gotta do is. So just postmodern. So it would be, and so find postmodern, replace with postmodern. There we go. But yeah, all right. We got a critical. Let's see. Affected by something positive. They have critical. Rolls additional millennium, taking the highest results. Fumble. Reliance on the universal will. We can probably add in. We shrink this. What would be a good, Millennium Dawn and Despair. Millennium Dawn and Despair. When a hero rolls a natural 20, they have scored a Millennium Dawn. Millennium Dawn. Good things happen when the universal will notices a Millennium Dawn. Good things happen. The best things. Actually, let me Millennium Dawn. When a hero rolls a natural 20 or 1, they have scored a Millennium Dawn. Good things happen. Millennium Dawn. They have drawn the eye of the universal will to their action for a split second. Things go extreme when the universal will's gaze comes upon them. Extremely good, extremely bad, or perhaps extremely mediocre. Things get weird. There we go. That's your nat 20. Just things get weird. Not you critically succeed, not you critically fail. Things go wrong. I'm curious why there's fan art of this game. It's the same way like there's fan art of The Room. like, or like people have like tried to rewrite it. It's one of those things, like it's hit such a point where it's so mimetic. And I also think this is I have no confirmation of truth for this, absolutely none. I have a strange inkling that the guys at Axe Studios may have paid artists like to do commission work for fan art of it. So when you Google the golden alpaca, this shows up and not like not people fucking memeing on it. Because like that kind of looks cool, a little bit ridiculous, but kind of funny in a way. But it's like I could see that occurring. Do I have any confirmation? Absolutely none. But does it sound right? Yeah, it sounds a little bit right. Let's do physical defense, side defense, melee offense. PSY off. Psi off, off rit. RNG off, and then we need to do off, RN off, RNG dash off, place all. We need to find off a dash mel and replace it with mel dash off. We need to find off slash PSY or off or PSY dash off, just to keep the same rhythm, you could say, for it. I feel that's important. Yeah, physical. This should still maintain its energy. This is fine. Plus the gutsy die. I would say hit points are a little bit janky, but I think I like the idea of being like, heroes are going to kind of like even out at a certain point when it comes to HP, and it's more about your powers that kind of indicate if you're like tanky or not necessarily like, oh, this or whatever. It's like, no, I just have a lot more of this, or it's like I've taken, this guardian stance, or I have a power that gives me like a bunch of fucking, it gives me thorns, or I have protection or whatever. Like, things like that, I could probably, what I can probably do is, reduce the next piece of damage. Reduce the next piece of damage by 1. I'm gonna say it's gonna be PP2. We can get armor pretty cheap. There we go. Penalty effects. Oh. There we go. I think armor's fine. Actually, what we can do for armor, that reminds me, we gotta go all the way back down here. We gotta go up here. Can I even fit this in here? I don't think I can fit it in here, but I can try. Let's see. What can I do to reduce? You can become heady. You can be 2. There we go. Welcome to manipulating Google Docs to do your goddamn bidding. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, the thing with Soul Survivor. Here's the thing with Soul Survivor. This is another, like, how do I want to word this? This is another very reliant on the GM game. I kind of talked about it today with the Cruelty Squad video, actually. This is you need a GM who definitely understands what they're getting into. Like, you need a GM who understands and knows why and the story they want to tell. Because kind of like, yeah, if you don't have a good story, you don't have like a good idea for like how you want to do it, the game isn't going to quite work. However, if you do, the game's going to work very well. It's very dependent on, does the GM kind of know how they want to wrangle this beast? And there's only so much I can kind of like offer in that regard. Because like some of my games you can play like, yeah, you can bring a pick up and play and it kind of tells its own story. This one's not like that. You need someone who understands. Like, I'm offloading a lot of the it on it, but it's less like, it's fucking yick for you. Which has its own ups and downs, like this. But yeah, locked in at about 33 pages, which, funnily enough, I believe that is like exactly how long Cruelty Squad was, which it has amusing parallels. I think personally it has some amusing parallels to that particular game. Very weird game, very odd one. I think it, like, I'm gonna put in, I have to put an image right there. Let's see. I need to find some more Alexes to put in here and just like start slotting Alexes in wherever I can. And I probably need to find like some kind of image for right here. I might put like a ninja rat here. But fucking Splinter. Probably will try to, like, I might break this up into 2 sections. You know, put Marcus Nemens in like one singular area. Like one singular page, while, you know, what is a level up, and then you have this kind of in the same page, well, big image right there, just to break things up a little bit more, because it's a lot of white space here. But it's like, you need tables and shit like that. But yeah, it turned out good. A little rough around the edges at first, I think. It was a little bit weird, but I think I think I wasn't quite approaching it the right way when I should, and then once I kind of hit my stride, I was doing pretty good, and everything kind of started clicking together. I was like, this is not clicking together very well, but I'm like, okay, it kind of is now. And what I should do is I should write in. Oh yeah, 1-2. We'll do 1-2 melee. Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of like one of the ideas. I might put in like another note about like ranged weapon. Like I might add in something later about like, this is what ranged weapons are like, or this is what this is like, and oh my god. I have no idea why this particular thing does this. I could probably like, what I can do. Not light. Metal, water, wood, void. Keep void very expensive. Light and dark to be a little bit more expensive. Status rounds. I'm okay with this being a little bit more expensive because like it might be a little bit too prohibitively expensive, but that's kind of a that's a little bit of like, yeah, I need to see what abilities people make, just like kind of consistently. I might throw my friend at it and be like, hey, make abilities. Like, you have a budget of, 25 points. What abilities do you want to make with that budget? And then be like, you have a budget of like what, and then kind of see what all of my guys make and kind of see that. Because then I can get an idea being like, well, we none of us took any status effects because status effects lasted for so short amount of time. And it was like, okay, and they're like, why didn't you want to increase it? It was too expensive. Okay, we can adjust it down a little bit to encourage people to take it a little bit more, to diversify abilities. However, that's a lot of the fucking eye doctor, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. That's what it boils down to. It's eye doctoring. But let's see, is there anything else really today? No, very calm. Life's good. I like life. Life is good. Things are looking, as they say in the hood, hog. Let's see, on our list for tomorrow, I can do a little bit of a look see. This is the game I have to go over tonight. This is tonight's game that I'm going over, which this game is physically painful for me to read because of how fucking bright it is at sometimes. But I'm looking forward to it. I know Chippy is going to be in it. Chippy's our boy. Chippy's our man. Trust in Chippy. And we got a lot of stuff here, and I'm interested to see where it goes, because we kind of see this like that's some interesting. That's kind of the gimmick, because it's where it's overlight, and then it's a role-playing game of kaleidoscopic journeys. I will probably do Coyote and Crow tomorrow first. Start off with kind of a little bit of a negative tone. But yeah, Overlight's kind of like... Overlight gets mentioned a lot, and I was kind of curious about it, because this is by Renegade, and because it's by Renegade, I was like, kind of a little bit of hemming and hawing there, because Essence 20 is by Renegade, and Essence 20 has been kind of a disappointing thing. But more positive games you got in the folder. Out of all of them, I've got 2 positive ones, like that I'm actually like pretty positive about. One I was very surprised about, that I was liked as much as I did, but I actually quite enjoy it. There was one, like one I was a little bit bummed about, I wanted to be wrong. This is Exquisite Replicas. Not my preferred cup of tea, but I don't hate it, but like there's a very distinct reason I'm not in love with it. Like it's tepid. I think that's the best way of wording it. It's a very tepid game for me, and I can explain why. And not only because it looks weird, but there's some actually kind of some deeper reasons to it. But yeah, no, tonight is Overlight, which I have high hopes for. Again, I've heard some positive things about it, so I'm kind of excited. Bounty Hunter was interesting. I am mixed on Bounty Hunter. Mixed, but I generally leaning toward positive. Generally leaning toward positive with a few very big asterisks in there. But yeah, no, it's the one that got cut was like Crescent Moon. I couldn't justify putting it in there. What was the one game that I was like, it was there for a while, and like I kept going back and forth on it. Then I finally decided like I can't justify doing it, just because it didn't kind of fit with what I was going for. Where'd it go? Well, first off, we have Dominion Rules. Dominion Rules is... This might honestly get a micro case because it's actually very fascinating. This has a very fascinating history because this was one of the first big shareware RPGs in a way, because he put a license out. Like, he pretty much put an SRD license out for this thing before SRDs were even thought about. And I'm very fascinated by it. And apparently that, like, he's been working on this since like the 90s. Yeah, I found this on complete accident one day. I've heard nobody talk about it, and I'm kind of fascinated because he's been working on this thing forever. But it's very detailed. You know, it's a unique system, D12 system. I was on there. I wanted to do it. I'm like, I'm doing it, but then I just couldn't, like why can't I justify doing you? Fuck. Sword Chronicle is kind of like in the same boat with that. It was like, I'm like, I really want to do this, but I was like, I can't. I can't, Chief. I'm sorry, I can't. Like, it ain't working for me there, Chief. What was the one that I also saw there? I do kind of have an October case plan. I like, there's a couple of these like kind of edgy games that I kind of just amassed indirectly. Like, so I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do kind of like an edgy game case for October. I think that'd be fun. These are kind of just games that I've just acquired over the years that I can't fit anywhere else. Like Zephyr, Mildred the Monk, I believe, talked about Zephyr. It's really wanted to open because it's a big book, big book. Yeah, Zephyr, like, he went over Zephyr, and it looked pretty interesting to me. I haven't really seen anyone talk about it before, so it's like, okay, I'm kind of in. I'm interested. I want to see where it goes. Zenobia was in the kind of like the same idea. This one might actually get folded into another case. Actually, kind of depends on how I kind of feel about it. Where was the one that I saw? Oh yeah, how can we forget fucking Fight? I have Fight. It's 402 pages. It was almost on the list as well. It was very close for this week. Decided against it because I might do like a fighting game case, just because I think that would be kind of interesting. Because there's enough of them to justify talking about it. That's my thinking. Like, there's enough to justify talking about it. Then people have mentioned Fight repeatedly before, so it's like I don't want it to get like eaten by something else. Also, here's Thrash by the same. I mean, however, the only issue is that it's Aaron, I believe that's what he goes by. I just call him Ewan. It's mostly things like Thrash. I've got Fight. I know there's a few other ones. It's not really a full formalized case yet. That's why I've been that's why I've been kind of thinking about it. I might do it, I might not. Might get folded into a case like this. Kind of just more of a chaos stream. This is just a Kickstarter darling that I saw. I remember it coming out, and I've been fascinated by it. It looks kind of neat. It has a cool vibe to it. I'm usually not a fan of like steampunk stuff, but this one has a unique enough pitch to it that I'm kind of in. Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, it's interesting enough for me to justify wanting to look at it, because it's kind of doing its own thing. Like, let me see. You guys selected the... Oh, people are having a shit fit in my server. Why do you people have a shit fit in my server every week? Yeah, the Magical Girl case. Magical Girl case might get some small edits turned around every now and again. Kind of depends on how I'm feeling on that one. Because there's a lot of that. Like, most likely. No shit. Yeah, no shit fit, no fun. I did find this. This is Orun. I actually got Luca to do his McFucking job, and I appreciate him. Found this. We saw it in a just a single picture for IPY, the Indie Press IPR, the Indie Press Revolution. Saw a picture of it. We kind of got interested in it, and it looked interesting enough. In case you're wondering, yes, the pages are square. I do not know why the pages are square. They just are. Nah, Solid was the first Gorbino. So I specifically gave Solid that role so people would stop bullying him, and people would stop, and he would like maybe wise up to the fact that he should maybe stop posting cringe. However, that did not stop him, nor did it stop any of you fuckers. Like the square book, I've seen square books before. I've seen those square books before, and they're usually pretty neat. They're a little bit awkward. Like he's still being bullied. He always is. Like, they're awkward to like kind of pick up and like flip through. They don't feel right. Like, your brain doesn't want to like them. It's just like, me no like. He did do one thing. Solid did actually bring this to my attention. This was the I think it's like a Metabot fan RPG. It's completely in Japanese. We might need to do a Dewang translation for this one. I believe it's based off Necronica. I believe it is. Just kind of judging by... My two theories are, we're seeing a lot of this symbolism. That might be just a Metabot thing. Might not be. I don't know. That's a very common thing. We also have a lot of parts. That was also a big thing. And it's shit like this that I see that I'm like, okay, like, maybe this is like a Necronica one. Again, it's kind of hard to tell for some of these because... And unfortunately, I don't know if Yandex is going to be able to actually deal with this. But, like, I can't, like, Yandex isn't going to understand that, unfortunately. So I can see what I can do for that one. That's really all I can do. Let's see. One of my patrons actually sent me this, which I thought was interesting. Oh yeah, it's a roguelike tabletop scenario. This one seemed a little bit interesting. This might get its own case, or it kind of might get folded into the horror case a little bit, because it seems interesting enough. I don't think it's like a strictly like an RPG. I think it's its own kind of thing. If you got enough Dewang translation, they may be worth a curious case. It kind of depends on the game in question. Like, after I get done with, like, Kizanite, which I should... Yeah, once I get done with Kizanite, honestly, that's what I might do after we finish Yik, and just do that on Tuesday, Thursdays. Like, I might do, like, just a case on that one, being like, this is Kizanite, I translated it, I did my best, it's maybe not perfect, but here it is. Because, like, some of them are easier than others. That one was simple enough because it was a web RPG. Like, the guy had his website in which he put everything that you can go through. And that was very easy because of that. If it's like a book, I don't know if I'd be able to. Because things get a little bit more wiggity wonk. Especially if it's, like, depending on how the book is scanned in and stuff like that. Then you have to rely on, like... It was like the picture one. I know, Cobra Man, Cobra Commander. He's got his, he's got the Space Cobra game. He was talking about that. I don't know if he finished it. I think he's almost done with it, or he did finish it. Like once he's like, yes, it's done. I might actually ask him about that. Well, when I get done with my own, being it's like, and I might do a case on that, being like, here's a Space Cobra RPG that doesn't exist, but one of my fucking people did it. He's cool. Let's see what the other one I had. Oh yeah, like, I might do a micro case on this one. I might not. I might just do a video. But yeah, here it is. Unfortunately, it's the same shit as always. Like, I kind of talked about this last time. It's the exact same shit. It even has tetanus in it. It has fucking tetanus in it. I was so sad. My day was ruined when I realized Transformers had a fucking tetanus rule in it. It was like... I was joking. I'm like, it's gonna have tetanus rules. It totally had fucking tetanus rules in it. And I was like, no! No! I might. Like, I was like... It's pain. Nothing by Renegade is good. Yeah, I know that feeling. Trust me, I know that feeling. Because, like, Renegade should be good. That's the thing. Renegade should be, like, putting out good shit. And the thing is, like, they look the part. They look decent. They just aren't. They just aren't good. Oh, yeah. I'm curious. We're going to do a little bit of let's check on some old friends, shall we? Just because I keep wondering about it. Let's see. Let's check out Swords Fall. Swords Fall, my beloved... My perpetual fascination with this is literally just built on it being a fucking disaster area. That is like my fascination with this is just built on that. And nothing. Nah, I'm not too surprised. The comment section is golden. And it's like... It's literally just people getting mad at each other, like just shit and mad and gone. Like 120 grand, that's all gone. Like it's Jover. It's Jover, but I'm in. Let me see, because we also have Oh, you got the Power Rangers book. Oh. Oh. Ooh, my brother in Christ, you poor bastard. Oh, Saf, that was it was rough. Like the G.I. Joe book wasn't bad. I didn't hate the G.I. Joe book. I think that one was actually pretty decent. Because it's G.I. Joe. It's if you do a little bit of finagling with it, you can make it work. Power Rangers, that was a rough experience. Because that game was Power Rangers was unfortunately sent out to die. Yeah, I think that was the issue with Power Rangers at its core. That was sent out to die. It was a beta, and I even say that in my video. Like, this is an early access version. If you paid for it, I feel sorry. Like, I genuinely, like, my soul hurts for you, brother. My soul hurts. Because those, like, that was a rough experience. Like, that was, oh. Let's see, because like one interesting thing with like the one we're going over tomorrow, which I'm gonna have to talk about this like pretty constantly, is like Coyote, the Coyote and Crow guy. Oh, he doesn't shut the fuck up. Like, this guy talks a lot. He's on the Twitter space a lot, and apparently people like it. Like, but this guy is kind of. Yeah, you kind of see here, this is who he is. Which I found it very, how do I want to say it? It was very fascinating with him. I'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow, but it's stuff like this. There's a little bit of fascination with him. The other one that I saw was, this is Into the Motherlands. This was also a Kickstarter super success. The guy didn't Mega Block you. Not yet. Not yet. This is Into the Motherlands, which I don't know what this game is. Because originally it was it's a TTRPG, you know, it's all new TTRPG. But then it's like, she is a streamer. Tanya here is a streamer. That's what she does. She streams games. And she does like actual plays, and like all of these guys are like, if you look at it, it's just like, oh, creator, creative director, lead developer, Gabe Hicks. We'll see Gabe Hicks a few times. He actually worked on Essence 20. Remember that he worked on Essence 20 very extensively. Jasmine Bular, developer. Like there's a weird amount of like people working on this. It's just like more developer. However, I go down here, like this is like the last two guys. It's like mechanics dev. And it was like, what? Like, why are these two guys like mechanics devs at the very bottom of the page, and then we have like 8 developers leading up to it? I thought that was kind of weird, but then it's like, oh, it's a setting book team, because they use what is it? Fucking Cypher? Not Cypher. Cortex, that's it. They use Cortex. What's the difference between a developer and a mechanics dev? I don't know. Because, like, these guys, like, clearly have, like, worked for different things. Because, like, yeah, storyteller and proud scoundrel American. He is known for the writer and co-creator of Electropunk, IDW Comics. And but like the big thing here that I'm like, creator and DM of the Darkened Wish streaming show for Wizards of the Coast, Baron Victor Temple and Vampire Masquerade LA by Night on World of Darkness Twitch, and Freely on Silver and Steel on D&D Beyond Twitch. Also the DM for the Black Dice Society, a new horror RPG based on the Wizards of the Coast iconic Ravenloft setting. And then it's like, oh, I want to make a dating simulator here. And he's like, oh, or like, I'm a 5e creation guy. And it's like, who are you people? And what are you doing? Like, how many people actually need to be here to write this much? Like, cool and all that you're all like working on stuff, but like, I also feel it very funny. Like, this is like here, then just like this guy gives no fucks. This guy gives not a singular fuck here. Yeah, just hi, I'm a comedian and nerd. Fuck you. Like, all right, cool. Everyone else has got like 15 paragraphs. He's just like one line. Yeah, this is very fascinating. I do not know what's going on there. Let's see. Hey man, I got a question. Once you thought about streaming a one shot with you and your friends here on Twitch, I have thought of doing that. I've thought about it. And every time I go to my stuff on my YouTube channel, I see all our old videos, because I actually did that back in the day. I recorded all of us and we were playing our Jake-ass Exalted game. I took all of those videos down, mind you. I took them all down because there was another player in there that we kind of had a falling out with. Hi, Emily. That's why, and like my issue is I would not refer to them as Yanzu, Uno Blue Boy, Sedwak. I wouldn't refer to them as that. I'd be saying their names and they'd say my name. And I would like to keep that kind of on the DL in that regard. Like, that's just a privacy thing. And I've seen some of these like professional AP podcasts. Like, no, that's too weird for me. I also DM weird. Like, I GM weird. And I'm very fast and loose with things. Yeah, exactly. Can't be add-on if people start using my name. Yeah, it's its own. Yeah, it's plus and minuses. You know how it goes. I'd like to. However, doing such, very different. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Tomorrow, it's going to be tomorrow at noon EST. We're going to be starting the Curious Case of Notepads folder. And that does entail me going through a handful of games. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. That was the one I was going to look at. The Cowboy Bebop TTRPG. Because this exists, and do we have any more news on this? Any news? Opinion and ideas. Let's see, like, yeah, this came out and like literally every single human being was confused by it. This was very fascinating. It was a strange and fascinating combination of things. They don't actually have much left to go. I think we're going to see this in the next couple months, like a month or two. Which I know it'll, like, the problem is I know it's going to do well, and that's going to be emotionally painful to me. It's going to be great. it's the Cowboy Bebop game is odd. Because, like, let me bring it up here real fast. Like, oop. This is the character sheet. And you're supposed to, like, be filling things out and stuff like that. Like, this has its own, let's just say, jank to it, okay? This has its own jank. What kind of fucking sheet is that? Yeah, it's a very strange, like, rolling, like, you have to define consequences. You're making, tests of difficulty. It's like a weird, like, dice pool system where you have to add in things all together, and like you have to write in different aspects of it until you can't write in anymore, and then it's like, oh, see you later, see you, Space Cowboy. And you got to build up rhythm points, but you got to spend those rhythm points, but you got to find when your rhythm is different way, and you got to find your groove. It's a weird game. Not enough good weird. It's a weird ass game. Like, here's Spike, for example. Like, his groove is that he has lightning reflexes, and he's a Red Dragon origin. He's got a memory of Julia, but he's got dangerous maneuvers. He knows Jeet Kune Do. He should never waste food. Have you ever looked at something and you're like, what the fuck are you on about? What in the... Yeah, it's trying to be musical, but I don't think it's... I don't think it's doing that very well, if that makes sense. I think it's... I don't know what they're doing with it either. I am very confused. But this will always be the most amusing aspect of the game, right here. Leave it there for tonight. The Cowboy Bebop, the role-playing game, will be available in English, Italian, and French. You do roll something, actually. You do. You roll D6s. Let me see if I can find... Yeah, let me see if I can, like... Where is it? Yeah, some D6s, two different colors, because, like, the entire idea is that you build a dice pool. You build a dice pool from all your traits, and then the GM will put in, like, consequence die. Then you roll all of that together. That's the idea. Like, it's a weird dice pool system that I'm like, but why? I thought this was a shit post at first, honestly. I thought it was a shit post. Yeah, it's, odd. Fucking, this Hack Traveler, man, that shit works better. Literally anything works better for a fucking Bebop campaign. But I did a little bit of digging. Like... The weird thing is, like, I did a little bit of digging, and, like, these guys, I'm not going to blame these guys. Like, Mana Project Studios is pretty good, and, like, they do some pretty interesting stuff. They're an Italian studio. The interesting thing is this. What I found out about it was Don't Panic Games. You kind of see here. They have a bunch of licenses for board games. They have the Naruto game. They've got, like... You know, the Attack on Titan game. They got a bunch of Cowboy Bebop games. Like Space Serenade and stuff like Tokyo Ghoul, Ghostbusters, the board game. Like, they have a bunch of these board games. And I think if I'm being a conservative, if I'm being a conservative soul, being a little bit cynical, is Attack on Titan. Even though the Attack on Titan game looks hilarious. Like, I'm in. Like, one of the weird things with it is you need... I think somebody sold the rights to them and they were like, we can make a shit ton of money if we make a Cowboy Bebop role-playing game. So they just hired Mana Project to, like, please make a fucking Cowboy Bebop game. We'll pay you, like, dirt, make it fast. We'll put it on Kickstarter. We'll all make money. And I think those guys were like, hell yeah, let's just make some quick money. And I think that's what that game is. I think it's like, we just want to keep the rights and shit like that. Honestly. But like, yeah, this is like what they... Look, everyone, you can play Connie. Oh boy, it's Connie. Yay! Connie. Well, I fell out of it just because of comic D&D of all editions. I just prefer to use things intended to purpose. Holy shit, they seem to be following the same tracks as Renegade and Steamforged. I got nothing on Mana Project. I mean, it's like, if someone's throwing money at you to make something and it's like, cool, go for it. I'm not going to blame them. You know, money is money, and there's not a lot of money in this industry. That's always like the thing you got to remember. Well, on that depressing note, thank you all very much. My name is Notepad Anon, and I'll see you all tomorrow noon. And we can talk more about fun things as I go on about games. Good night.